William, a titan of industry, felt utterly powerless. His empire, built on calculated risks and bold moves, meant nothing. The weight of his responsibilities, once a source of pride, now felt like a burden too heavy to bear. His penthouse overlooking the city, a symbol of his success, felt like a cage. The panoramic view that once inspired him now seemed to mock his helplessness. His son, Leo, lay sick. A rare illness. Doctors baffled. William, desperate. Days turned into weeks. The hospital visits became a routine, each one more disheartening than the last. Leo, once vibrant and full of life, grew weaker. His energy, once boundless, was now a distant memory. The sparkle in his eyes dimmed, replaced by a haunting fatigue. His laughter, once echoing through the vast apartment, was replaced by silence. The toys lay untouched, the room eerily quiet, a stark contrast to the lively home it once was. William, consumed by guilt and fear, clung to hope. He spent sleepless nights praying, meditating, and searching for answers. The weight of his son's suffering bore heavily on his heart. He had to do something, anything. The feeling of helplessness was unbearable. He made calls, wrote letters, and sought advice from anyone who might offer a glimmer of hope.
I decided to hire a live-in nanny, someone specialized in caring for chronically ill children. It was a difficult decision, but I knew it was necessary. Someone who could provide the care and attention I, consumed by my business, couldn't. I needed someone who could be there for Leo when I couldn't, someone who could offer him the comfort and care he deserved.
His search led him to Mary, a woman with years of experience. She had a calm demeanor and a reassuring presence, qualities that William desperately sought, and glowing references. With a heavy heart, William entrusted his precious son to a stranger. It was a leap of faith, a desperate attempt to bring some semblance of normalcy back into their lives. Mary arrived with a warm smile and a calming presence. She moved around Leo's room with a gentle grace, her touch soft and reassuring. Leo, initially wary, seemed drawn to her. He allowed her to read to him, her voice soothing his troubled sleep. William, observing from a distance, felt a flicker of hope. Mary seemed like the answer to his prayers.
Here, Leo, try this soup. It's good for you.
She cooked nutritious meals for Leo, coaxing him to eat with a patience William envied. She played games with him, filling the room with the sounds of laughter he thought he'd never hear again. For the first time in weeks, William felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He threw himself back into his work, drawing comfort from the thought that Leo was finally in good hands. As days turned into weeks, a nagging feeling began to gnaw at William's newfound peace. He couldn't shake off a sense of unease. He found himself leaving meetings early, his mind filled with images of Leo. He started calling home more frequently, his conversations with Mary polite but brief.
How's Leo today?
He noticed a change in Leo. His son seemed withdrawn, his earlier spark extinguished. He seemed uncomfortable around Mary, his laughter forced. William dismissed it as paranoia, a side effect of his anxiety. But the seed of doubt had been planted. His brother David, ever the pragmatist, suggested installing cameras in Leo's room. Just for peace of mind, he argued.
Was I crossing a line? Was I letting my fear cloud my judgment?
The cameras went up the next day. Hidden discreetly in Leo's room, they offered a silent, constant view. William told himself it was for Leo's safety, a way to monitor his condition. But deep down, he knew he was also watching Mary.
The first few days were uneventful. Mary's routine was impeccable. She cared for Leo with unwavering attention, her demeanor professional and caring. I felt a wave of relief. I had been wrong to doubt her. I'd been foolish to let my fear get the better of me.
One evening, as William reviewed the day's footage, he noticed something odd. It was a fleeting moment, easily missed. Mary was preparing Leo's medication, her back to the camera. Her hand moved quickly, replacing a vial in the medicine cabinet. It was a seemingly insignificant action, but it struck a chord of suspicion in William's gut.
Intrigued and disturbed, I rewound the footage.
He watched the scene again and again, each time focusing on Mary's hand.
It was subtle, but I was sure of it. She was switching Leo's medication, but why?
Sleep was impossible that night. His mind raced with possibilities, each more terrifying than the last.
Was Mary trying to harm Leo? Was she being paid off by someone?
He couldn't shake off the feeling that something sinister was at play.
I decided to confront Mary, but not without concrete proof.
He contacted a private investigator, a man known for his discretion and efficiency.
My instructions were clear. Find out everything about Mary, her past, her connections, her motives.
William needed answers, and he needed them fast.
Section 6, Betrayal's Sting. The investigator's findings confirmed my worst fears. Every detail, every piece of evidence pointed to a betrayal so deep it left me reeling. Mary, the seemingly perfect nanny, was leading a double life. She had seamlessly integrated into our lives, earning our trust and affection. Her real name was Sarah, and she had a history of petty theft and fraud. This wasn't just a one-time mistake, it was a pattern of deceit and manipulation. She had been fired from her previous job for stealing from her employer, a wealthy family with a sick child. The betrayal there was just as profound, but they had been fortunate enough to uncover her true nature before it was too late. The vial she had switched contained a harmless placebo. It was a calculated move, one that required meticulous planning and a cold, unfeeling heart. She had been slowly replacing Leo's actual medication, hoping his condition would deteriorate. Each day she watched him suffer, knowing she held the power to stop it. Her plan, it seemed, was to extort money from me, promising a miraculous cure in exchange for a hefty sum. She preyed on my desperation, knowing I would do anything to save my son. Rage coursed through my veins. The thought of her using my son's illness for her own gain was unbearable. This woman, this imposter, had wormed her way into my home, preying on my vulnerability and love for my son. She had taken advantage of our kindness and trust, turning it into a weapon against us. She had used Leo's illness, his fragility, for her own selfish gain. Her smile, once comforting, now seemed sinister and mocking. I had trusted her, and she had betrayed me in the worst possible way. The pain of her betrayal was a wound that would take a long time to heal, if it ever did. The scars of her deception would remain with us forever, a constant reminder of the darkness that can hide behind a friendly face. Section 7. A bond unbroken. I confronted Mary, my voice shaking with barely suppressed fury. I presented her with the evidence, my words like venom.
Mary, her face pale and drawn, broke down. She confessed everything, her pleas for forgiveness falling on deaf ears. The police arrived soon after, taking a sobbing Mary away. William felt no satisfaction, only a profound sense of sadness and betrayal. He had failed to protect his son, the one person he loved more than life itself.
As Mary was escorted out, I went to Leo. My son, weak and pale, looked at me with trusting eyes. In that moment, I vowed to make things right. I would be the father Leo needed, the protector, the constant presence in his life. Section 8. Seeking justice. The legal battle was swift and brutal. Mary, stripped of her false identity, was charged with fraud, child endangerment, and attempted extortion. The media had a field day. The story of the millionaire and the conniving nanny splashed across newspapers and television screens.
William, however, remained focused on Leo. He stepped away from his company, his ambition replaced by a fierce determination to make up for lost time. He showered Leo with love and attention, surrounding him with the best doctors and therapists. The trial was a media circus, but William never wavered. He testified against Mary, his voice firm as he recounted her betrayal and the impact it had on his son. The jury, moved by his testimony and the overwhelming evidence, found Mary guilty on all charges.
Section 9. Healing and Hope. This is a story of resilience, of finding light in the darkest of times. Mary was sentenced to a lengthy prison term, her crimes earning her the scorn of the public and the justice system. The courtroom was filled with a heavy silence as the judge read out her sentence. For me, however, the sentence brought little solace. The emptiness inside me was overwhelming, a void that no amount of justice could fill. The damage had been done. The trust that once held our family together was shattered, leaving behind a trail of broken pieces. The trust had been broken. There was a wound that cut deep, affecting every aspect of our lives. I poured all my energy into Leo's recovery. Every day was a battle, but I was determined to help him heal.
Slowly but surely, Leo began to heal. His wounds, both physical and emotional, started to mend. His laughter returned, filling the once quiet apartment. The sound of his joy was like music to my ears, a sign that we were on the right path. He started regaining his strength, his spirit unbroken. Each day, he grew stronger, more resilient.
I cherished every milestone, every smile, every moment. Each small victory was a testament to our perseverance and love. The ordeal had changed me. It had forced me to confront my own vulnerabilities, to face the reality that life is fragile and unpredictable. It had stripped away my illusions of control, my belief that wealth could solve everything. I realized that true strength comes from within, from the bonds we share with those we love. It had taught me the true meaning of vulnerability, the preciousness of trust, the enduring power of love. These were lessons that no amount of money could buy. I had faced my demons and emerged stronger, my bond with my son unbreakable. Together we had rebuilt our lives piece by piece. We had faced the darkness together, and in the end, love had triumphed. Our journey was far from over, but we were ready to face whatever came next, hand in hand.